I think my first memory was meeting my wife to be as a 15-year-old wanting to try out. We both tried out
Counselor
for
training.
to be
Counselor
counselors.
training weekend.
And we met. I invited her best friend to come, and she invited Karolyn. And my best friend came and sat next to her. And so I didn't have anybody to talk to or do anything with but to say hi to Karolyn. And you know how God works. He already knew this, I think, ahead of time, but there was that little sparkle, and little did we know what was happening. But I found my wife. I found my wife, and she found me in our first, and that was our first little spark. That was the spark that started it all.
What year was that?
That was in 1970, April 10th. I remember that date even more than our wedding date, which gets me in trouble. But I remember that because it's when that spark happened. And to me, that's always been the special spot. And we just think on and off over time about our walks and our things together, talking and sharing and getting to know each other here at camp during that very first weekend of trying out to be a counselor.
When was your first time coming to Camp Wyman? Was it as campers yourself or as counselors and working with Bill?
It was as counselors. We were wanting to be counselors. We both got selected. I got selected as a sophomore and she as a junior. And Bill Kloppy, who was there for, like a pillar of Camp Wyman and Webster Groves, worked with me for 3 years. And I got to be a counselor during sophomore, junior, and senior year. And I got so involved, he let me come down each 3 weeks in the fall and in the spring. And he let me work with the entire program. And then he actually let me work with him all year long, planning for Camp Wyman and doing all the work with him. And he became my mentor. And I didn't know it at the time, but he mentored me and helped me work with all the planning and all the inventories and all the administration and the marketing and everything that went with it. And then the second year I was here, he let me start training counselors. And I remember telling some jokes while training, and they laughed. And I thought, oh my gosh, I'm loving this. I love working with counselors, and I found I loved working with kids, and I found my profession. What I did for my entire life came true, and Camp Wyman was the root of it all happening, because I got to work with all of the kids, but particularly the boys, because I was a guy and I was working with the boy groups. And of course at night we'd play the guitar and sing and dance and do all the outdoor activities and take all the hikes and things like that. But I got to just love working with the kids and just loved working with the counselors. And so I've always been thankful for Bill Kloppy, who didn't only see what I didn't see or know, and then helped me grow it for a few years. And just to give a little more credit, those 6th grade teachers that came to camp and stayed all week, well, they would retire over the years and they'd come back and they'd feed us counselors at night. At 10 at night, they'd be bringing in whole meals. And I thought, what dedication to the field and to this program. And so Bill Kloppy just loved nature, and he loved being responsible to the earth and making it all good. And he eventually retired and went and worked at a national forest for a few years, for fun. Well, I'm semi-retired and I'm back in teaching again, and the school I work with has outdoor ed camp. So it's kind of what goes around comes around. And my wife and I have been together for about 50 years now, because we met in 70 and a little 50 over 50. And so Camp Wyman meant so much to us and to me. in my lifetime. So that's the best. That's the best of what I'd want to share.